There's nothing wrong with desire, right? Obviously, we're not talking about ordinary terms here. On ordinary terms, the way most people live their life, desire is the organizing principle. Desire is the driving force. I want this, I work for this, I get this, and I get bored of it, and I get tired of it, and it doesn't fulfill me as much as I thought it would. So I move on to something else. This is ordinary life, right? I'm talking about, in spiritual circles, people say desire is something to be overcome, desire is something to be transcended, desire is something to be put down, right? The thing is that when we talk about liberation, when we talk about perfect enlightenment and dissolution, this state is not something that comes about as a result of us pushing anything down within ourselves, of seeing something in ourselves and thinking, oh no, I don't like that. Let me avoid that, let me push that down, let me negate that while I go into something else. Journey to liberation is really a great opening. A great opening unto life, a great opening unto ourselves. And eventually on that path we see that nothing there is harmful. Everything is ultimately empty in its essence. It's our own perception that make things feel or seem harmful to us, right? So when we talk about desire, to my mind, on the natural path, desire is not something to be avoided or escaped from or suppressed or repressed. Desire is something we need to go into it. We need to see what desire has to teach us. How does the teaching of desire work? On the one hand, we fulfill things that we genuinely want to do. Right? Things that we genuinely want to experience, it happens. And on the other hand, we also get to see that this game of desire apparently goes on forever. Whatever we desire and whatever we gain or accomplish or experience, it never truly fulfills us. But this realization doesn't come intellectually through looking and thinking, oh yeah, that's probably the way things are. No, this realization actually has to be lived. And when this realization is lived, then it has an actual impact. Likewise, all the spiritual knowledge, you can take whatever little spiritual fact you want, everything is empty, we are all one, blah blah blah, all of this kind of stuff. When these things are just words, they're meaningless, right? But when these things are directly experienced, likewise, when someone directly experiences the unity of life and our birthless, deathless state, then the words of that person have a certain impact. So when it comes to desire, we have to learn about desire. And we can't learn about it from books. We have to learn about it from going into it and seeing what it has to teach us. Can we get to liberation if we're at the stage where we have things that we really want to do, but we're avoiding them because we're too scared to do this or do that? Too scared of what other people will think or whatever. Maybe then we can use our spirituality, our so-called spirituality, as an excuse to avoid doing what we really want to do. No, spirituality will not happen in the world of excuses and suppressions and repressions. Spirituality, real spirituality happens through honest living, honest to ourselves living, doing what we really want to do, doing what we really feel like doing, and then seeing. This doesn't mean that our life is going to be perfect as a result of doing what we want to do. No. This will not make everything perfect and beautiful, but it will give us an honest life. And from this honest life, where we're honestly following what we want to do and also what we don't want to do, we get honest lessons. We get lessons that actually mean something to us. What lessons can we get if we're living somebody else's life? Or we're living a second-hand life? We're living the life that society or culture has just sold to us? There's no lessons we can get from this. The only lesson that we get right at the end of this kind of life is that we shouldn't have followed other people, we shouldn't have listened to other people, we should have listened to ourselves. We've wasted our life, basically. Real life begins when we are honest to ourselves and we start following our own track. Again, this is not going to make us permanently happy. This is not going to destroy suffering. But this is actually going to give us an honest life where we can learn real lessons. And a point does come, and a point will come, where desire is exhausted. We stop wanting anything. It's exhausted. And this doesn't happen because we've managed to repress desire, we've managed to push it down enough so that it just disappears. No. You can't push something down enough that it disappears. What's there has to be dissolved into something greater, into something more expansive. So that's what this path is. It's an opening up, it's an expansion. And being honest to ourselves, doing what we want to do, going after what we really want is an expansion. It might not be the expansion that we read about in books and that we think we want, masters, yogis expanding into the cosmos, expanding into cosmic consciousness, right? But that's not for us until we fully lived, until we can fully say, yes, I did everything that I wanted to do. If I came back again, I wouldn't do anything differently, and for that matter, there's no need for me to come back again, because I've done everything that I want. I'm fine. I don't need to do this, I don't need to do that, I don't need to go here, I don't need to go there. What comes, I'm happy with. What goes, I'm also happy with. Right? This is a state we eventually reach, equanimity, pre-liberation. But this comes through honest living. It doesn't come through avoiding ourselves or suppressing ourselves, right? Be yourself. Follow your honest desires. See what they have to teach you about life. See what joy they have to give you. See what misery they have to give you as well. This is the right track. The right track is the one that feels right to us, that feels honest to us and feels real to us. This is a real spirituality, not the spirituality of words, not the spirituality of somebody else, not the spirituality of books or movies or whatever. This track will take us to the right place. This track will help us open up deeper aspects of ourselves with time, and eventually, when we're so integrated, we're so aligned with ourselves, and also once we've learnt a lot about impermanence, that nothing stays forever, everything comes apart, eventually we open up this point within ourselves, this still point, this content place within us. It's just the essence of our being, just the us that is behind the us that we think we are. The energy, the presence that is constantly sitting there behind the mind, enlivening everything, empowering everything, witnessing everything. This eventually comes, this eventually opens up for us, but we have to be extremely honest to ourselves to get to this place. And And we have to live. We have to live fully, honestly, fearlessly, directly. We have to make thousands of mistakes. We have to learn thousands, tens of thousands of lessons about ourselves, about others, about life. This is the path. You can't separate it from life. Spirituality, spiritual path is not some little corner of life that's annexed off from everything else. No. Spirituality is life fully lived, fearlessly lived, directly lived, vulnerably lived. Right? This is how it is, in my perspective. This is natural spirituality.